Good morning, and here we go. We're talking about adding and subtracting polynomials, but first you need to know what terms are. In math, a term is part of a polynomial, and an example of a term would be something like 7, just a single number all by itself. Or maybe negative 16x is a term. Terms are separated by addition or subtraction typically. And then here's another example. One term, 2000, x to the third, y to the fifth, z. That's all one term. Now, like terms. Here, like terms are terms with the same variables, and the variables have matching exponents, and I'll show you what that means. Now, this first one, 4x and 6x is one in the purple. Those are considered like terms because the x's have a 1 coefficient. Sorry, not coefficient, exponent. That's what I meant to say. In the next example, 8x and 9x squared in the blue here, those are not like terms because one exponent is 2 and the other is only 1. Down the end here, we have 11 and 10, and these are considered like terms because they do not have any variable. They're a special case called constant terms. Down the bottom here in kind of a brown color, we have something with 19x y to the fifth z to the 7, negative 3x y to the fifth z to the 7. These are like terms because the x's in both have a 1 power, the y in both have a 5 power, and z in both have a 7 power. Just because one coefficient is negative and the other is positive has no bearing on whether or not they're like terms. All right, now we're going to come down here to combining like terms. When you add or subtract polynomials, you do not change the exponent. So in this first one, 5x minus 3x, they are like terms, so I'm just going to combine their coefficients to give me 2x. Down here, 4x squared plus 8x squared, those are like terms, so I'm going to add their coefficients, 12x squared, not x to the fourth, because you don't add or subtract, you don't change the exponent when you're adding or subtracting. Down the bottom here, this is almost a trick question, because there's no like terms, so you can't combine any of it, so you just rewrite it, 15x to the third plus 6x to the second. They're not like terms, so you can't combine them together. So far, okay? All right, here's the next thing. This is adding polynomials, but I'm adding a little part to it, and that's called writing the answer in descending order. Now, descending order refers to the variable's exponent, not the coefficient. So when I'm combining like terms here, really with addition, you don't have to worry about these parentheses because there's no multiplication going on outside into the parenthesis like distributive property, and there's no need to worry about the polynomial's parentheses. They're only really there for emphasis to show where one starts and ends. So it's as if we could just have dropped the parentheses. It would not have changed this problem at all. I'm going to go to the biggest variable exponent, and that happens to be the 5x to the third power. And there's no other x to the third, so I just write it down, 5x to the third. The next one is 21x squared. There are no other x squared, so I'm going to write that down. It's a positive, so I put plus 21x squared. Then I have a 3x and a negative 9x. When I combine those together, that makes negative 6x. And then I have a -7 constant term and a +10, and that adds up to a +3. And that is the entire descending order and adding polynomials. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move over to here and let you guys, did you need more time for writing? Okay, so try these problems, and I gave the other class 5 minutes, and I'm going to let you guys try these problems, and I don't know how to pause this video, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, if you were watching this video, you're going to pause it, and you're going to try these problems. When I unpause, then you're going to see the answers done out. But for this case, you're going to see me do the answers out. 8x and -7x makes 1x. -4 and +9 make a +5. Next example. 21x to the third, -16x to the third. That's 5x to the third. I've got 10x squared, so plus 10x squared. There's no other x squareds. I've got 2x, and there's no other no other x to the first, so 2x. And then I've got -12 and -10 make -22. Now I'm going to work on the bottom here. 11x squared and 4x squared is 15x squared. -9x and +3x make -6x. And +5 and -11 make -6. There's your answers here. I'll come back to this if you need more time for writing. Now we're going to do subtracting polynomials. When you subtract polynomials, you want to make sure that you distribute the negative sign to the right, to everything inside that parenthesis, and then rewrite it dropping the parentheses. 17x squared plus 8x minus 4 minus 6x squared plus 7x minus 3, because negative times positive is negative, negative times negative is positive to give me a positive 7x, and negative times positive 3 is -3. Now I'm going to just combine my like terms. 17x squared, -6x squared is 11x squared. 8x and 7x make 15x, and -4 and -3 make -7. And there's your answer for that one. Now I'm going to give you some other examples to try. You can go ahead and pause the video, and when you unpause, we will be working on showing you the answers for these three. All right, so here we go. Distribute the negative. 8x minus 4 minus 9 plus 7x. Combine like terms, that gives me 15x and a -13. So 15x minus 13 would be my answer there. In this next example, 21x to the third plus 10x squared minus 12. And then I'm going to distribute the negative plus 16x to the third minus 2x plus 10. I'll combine my like terms. 21 and 16 make 37x to the third. I've got my positive 10x squared. I've got my negative 2x. And then negative 12 and positive 10 make -2 on the other end. Finally, in this last one, I have to distribute distribute, so 11x squared minus 9x plus 5. And then I'm going to distribute the negative here. Minus 4x squared minus 3x plus 11. I combine my like terms. 11x squared negative 4x squared makes 7x squared. Negative 9x and negative 3x makes negative 12x. Positive 5 and positive 11 make positive 16. And there is your answer. Hopefully you didn't have any questions, but if you do, please rewatch the video.